It's actually quite surprising that a lot of the experts that work on global outlook studies do not look at different issues, but instead focus on one issue. For instance, they might focus only on ecology or only on resources, but don't necessarily look at how those two interact and interplay. The Youth Earth Plan strength is that it takes these separate outlooks and combines them and sees where there are contradictions, where one is not necessarily looking at the limits of the other. So it puts these together in an integrated outlook that creates a more realistic picture of what really does lie ahead for youth today and for youth in the next 30 to 50 years.
The mission of our task is to bring young people and adults together to study carefully all of the most respected global studies that we have, and then to help the young people formulate a realistic plan for how to bring themselves and their children safely through the 21st century.
So we want to make these studies accessible for younger people because they're really important. A study on energy that says what our energy outlook is going to be for the next 30 years is something that then a decision maker is taking and making global decisions off of what that report says.
Well, this is the size of a typical outlook study, and it's very thick and it's very, very dense. So our TAC interns and staff, they take this material, they summarize it and make it accessible for young people to read. And in it are the assumptions and the conclusions that these summaries talk about, and this gives a chance for young people to digest the material, to respond to the material, and to teach other young people so that they could get more engaged in the process as well.
Part of what we do is to bring young people and adults together to talk about the young people's hopes and fears and what the older people remember and are proud of and are sorry about. And the thing that I find particularly interesting is in these situations, young people afterwards say, I've never had a conversation like that before. You know, older people never want to listen to me. And they're thrilled to have that kind of experience. And the adults are thrilled too, because it gives them a kind of engagement with the future, with a new generation that they don't otherwise have.
What inspired me to join our task was the fact that there was an organization that seemed to believe in everything that I believed in, and looking at the environment and getting involved with the environment, but not just the environment, and looking at how everything's connected.
I think the Global Outlook reports would look a lot different if youth were involved in the process. A lot of these reports only look 30 years in the future. I'm 27, I'll be 57 then, and I'll still have a lot of life left to live and want a clean planet.
I find that I personally am changing, and I'm getting more concerned about it. I'm thinking more in the time frame of looking at the lifespan of the younger generation, their children and their grandchildren, taking us well into the 22nd century, that 100 years for sea level rise, for example, really isn't so far off when you realize that children and grandchildren of the present generation will still be here.
I think that the task of our generation is to take a very serious and good look at where we are now and where we're heading, and really understand that there are limits, real limits, in the things that are coming up ahead of us, whether it be in water, in arable land, resources, and energy. It is very important that we understand that these things are not infinite and to act accordingly.
We know what needs to be done, but we're not doing it. And we need the younger generation to be saying to people my age, this may work for you for a while yet, but it is not going to work for me. It's not going to work for my children. And you need your help to make the changes that we know we need to make.